You might be fine throwing that around, or you might like know it's a joke between you and your friend, but who is the bystander listening and picking that up and carrying it with them for the rest of their life? And that's the reality of like some of these things, the implications that comments have.
They like become the core memories of like
of a moment.
Yes. Yep.
Of a situation.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Sessions for the Soul.
Yes. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to do a little... Oh my gosh, what is it called? I said what I said.
I said what I said.
Ask us anything. I said what I said.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. I said what I said.
I think I went first last time.
Okay, I will take it away. I'm gonna take it away. You guys, daylight savings pisses me off. I said what I said. And this, if you're not inconvenienced by this, I invite you to really like tune in to yourself and to the world around you. And first of all, I was blindsided by the entirety of daylight savings this year, because I swear to God, we've voted on this like 4 times. That like,
wow, it's been brought up so many times.
It's been brought up, and I do recall it being on a ballot at one point. Like,
I think you're right. I vaguely remember that too. I think it was
a couple years ago. Yeah,
but yeah,
don't have us vote for shit if you're not gonna like, hey, I get it. It's problematic in the first place. But if we are all in agreement, why are we still doing this? Mm-hmm. It's just disrupting an entire species' circadian rhythm for no reason at all.
No, but actually I think there's a spike of like heart attacks or health issues or something on daylight savings, or like within that week or something, because like people are so like thrown off.
And that's insane.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, no big deal. We'll just keep it up. And that's crazy. Yeah, I hate it. I will say this is my favorite time change, is the fallback, because I'm waking up super early now and I'm like getting a bunch done. And I'm like, wow, like it feels like it's 10 a.m. And I look and I'm like, it's 8.
I love that for you. I wish I could say the same. I did that not the morning of, but the next morning I woke up at 6. And that felt really early for me. And then today I did not. So,
well, hey, we'll adjust.
Maybe.
I know. I've been having such a hard time getting to sleep. Like I don't know what it's about. It's literally because of this time change. Like I'm tired at like 4 o'clock when it's pitch black outside. And then I've, fight through it. And then 11 rolls around and I'm like wide awake. And I cannot. So my favorite little cocktail of magnesium, potassium, and calcium, trying to knock myself out with that.
Yeah.
So far, it's really not working.
Yeah. I am a big fan of like turning lights off after sunset, but this time of year, like Adam, the first night, he was like, Kayla, it's literally like 5 o'clock. We cannot have all the lights off and like only using like a candlelight or like one little, glowing light. Like we need to be able to like cook dinner and see.
That is amazing. You're like, the power's always out here. That is so funny. I love that. You're like, it's 3:30 and it's like you guys need literally a candlelight in hand to see each other. Hyper.
Yeah.
That is so funny. I
found that. What are those called? Like the little candlestick holders that you like
carry around.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're called, but I
need to get
love
myself
them.
one. I found one, but I just didn't love the look of it at like an antique shop. So I'll be on the lookout for the season, because I feel like that's my reality, is like carrying a candle around.
It's giving Phantom of the Opera, like holding a whole ass candelabra, like walking through, like, and
for dramatic effect.
I do that too. I will tell you, I do that too. Like I'll move from one room to the other. But yeah, no, having like an actual, that's funny. The other day, my parents arrived back at their house. This episode didn't air, so no one knows, but yeah, living back with my parents, we'll divulge later. I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, like I had done the turning the lights off to like help tune into being tired. And they came home because they were like in Portland for the day, and they came home and they were like, my dad literally was like, are you having a seance? What's going on? And I was like, no, this is better for your brain. Mm-hmm. And so I've been trying to do that, but it's really hard. Like,
it's hard when there's like other people involved, for sure. Yeah.
No, they need to just fucking fall in line. Okay.
Yeah.
They need to just, because it's good for them. I'm trying to help
It
them.
is. Yes. You're doing a service for everyone.
Exactly. Okay. Well, that's my I said what I said. Daylight savings pisses me off. Take it away.
Mine, it might be more controversial. I'm just like not a fan of smoking in public, like people smoking in public. I don't feel like I should have to breathe that in.
Yeah.
So I feel like last time we recorded this, I just went on and on and on about it. I'm just going to end it there.
She's like, and full stop. No, you know what? I love that. I will bring something super controversial to the table next week, but
Perfect.
just to like balance it out. But no, you know what? I think that's a beautiful thing. Like it's like, it's don't expose people to, you know, because it'd be one thing if it's like, oh, a non-harmless thing. It's harmful. And so it's like, if
like
you
factually harmful.
Yeah. If you don't like want to be consuming cancer causing chemicals, that is your right, babe. And I support
it's, like,
that.
Tough to like avoid it. You know what I mean? Like if someone's like smoking outside, it's like tough to like escape it.
Well, and I do find it strange when people are smoking in a really like inconsiderate spot. Like go stand away from the door
or the crowd
or go across the street. There's nobody over there by that tree, like whatever. Yeah. Find an appropriate place to smoke. If you're just like, you know, 3 feet from the entrance to a building and you're going to like light one up, excuse me.
Yeah, it's a little much for me.
Yeah.
So that's my I said what I said.
And I love that for you. And I support it. I also think smoking in a car is crazy, just to say.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
I just cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. It's like, it feels so overwhelming. It's just like, it's a headache probably. I don't know.
Smoking indoors as well. I think you can smoke indoors in Vegas. And
definitely some casinos, even in Washington. Like
what?
Oh yeah, we don't go to casinos, but for some reason we like popped into one at one point just to like see what it's about. And I was
that's like, fucking hilarious.
This is like an actual headache for me.
What?
Okay.
I think it's still working. Okay.
We're having some.
Burke is trying to redo the tech for the day.
Anyway, it's just, so smoking indoors at casinos is like still pretty
I'm
popular.
Shook by this.
But like designated areas as if the rest of the place isn't affected. Like it's silly. So
you know what? I was at an airport in Utah, I think, and you can smoke in the airport in Utah.
In Utah?
Yeah, there's like a whole smoking room.
Oh, that's surprising to me in Utah.
Utah is surprising to me.
Yeah.
Okay, as a whole. I said what I said. Yeah.
We'll just keep it going.
Okay. Anyway, you guys.
So today's episode, we're going to be talking about body image and also hitting on like a little bit of like seasonally relevant body image stuff. So we're going to be talking about like body dysmorphia, a little bit about body neutrality, looking at like the extreme, like the swinging pendulum of like body types that have been like really popular, like pushed socially, commenting on people's body shapes and sizes and why we should not do that. Mm-hmm. All of this being like an inside job. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about like the holiday experience and like navigating all the different lovely food options that are out there that sometimes can like throw people in a shame and like punishment spiral and how you can kind of like avoid that this year. So that's kind of like a little breakdown.
Yeah, I love that.
We'll talk about.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think this episode's going to be really good. And we're just going to dive right in, folks. So yeah, I mean, where to begin? Funny enough, like in the last episode, we touched on how we had recorded some episodes. And so Kayla and I did do this episode for you guys already, but due to the audio issues we had, we didn't get to post it. And we both like really want to have this conversation, but we kind of feel like it was an opportunity for us to kind of like look at some of the things we talked about or like just kind of reassess what we wanted to share and how we shared it. And so, yeah, I think that this is a great opportunity to kind of examine some of these things that especially women, I think women and men both obviously experience all of this.
Yeah.
But there's like a little bit more of a, at least from the female perspective, like I feel like men get a little bit more like permission to like kind of just meet their body. Like there's maybe a little bit less social pressure to like maintain or be in a specific like box, if you will.
I think it's a tighter box for women, probably.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It is a tighter box.
Yeah.
And like,
so it just feels like high pressure sometimes. And I think that's what can lead to like, you know, dysmorphia and like body neutrality are first on our list, and how sometimes the way that other people see you, or like objectively the way that you look, the way you carry yourself, your posture, all the different things about your like external appearance, sometimes when you look in the mirror, you are seeing it in such a skewed way. It's like you're seeing, you know, those like mirrors that are like
a funhouse mirror.
Yes. Yeah. And so sometimes like our eyeballs will look in the mirror and kind of reflect that back to us of like something so different than what the world maybe sees. And a lot of times that's related to like these, you know, societal expectations and the pressures to love your body or change the way that you look or do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. And it's like so much noise and pressure. And so it's hard, I think, in those cases to look in the mirror and love what you see. And this is actually something that we talked about previously that I think is important to bring up now, is that this is not going to be an episode about like, you just need to love your body and practice all the self-love and affirmations. Like if you are listening and you're in a space of hating what you see, it's like the most annoying and frustrating thing to hear someone say like, oh, you should just love your body. Like that's really hard. And so that's why I love the concept of like body neutrality, of if you are struggling with body image and the way that you look, the image that you see in the mirror, being able to just be neutral about it. How can I just treat my body with neutrality rather than having to like be grateful all the time or beat myself up? Like it just is. I have a body. It allows me to move about the world. It lets me, you know, go to my job and take care of my kids or like whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I have a body and it's functioning.
Right. Absolutely. I think that is so, I'm glad you remembered that and like brought that up, because I think that there's like this like pressure and a narrative around like, you should love yourself. I was just saying this morning because I had therapy before this, LOL. Because I think sometimes it's hard for us to take up space with like our, whatever we're carrying and like what we feel. And I said, nobody wants to hear the woes of a privileged girl. And it's kind of that thing of like, it feels like everybody's kind of like, well, you should love your body. You should do that work. You should some people would kill to have what you have or whatever. And whether that's like, I'm talking about at any size, shape, phase, whatever of life you're in, like there's always like someone else that we should be like having gratitude where we're at because somebody else has it worse. And I think that that's like the narrative sometimes. And there's like a pressure of like, nobody wants to like, it's almost like we carry like this like guilt or shame around not feeling great about where we're at with our body. And so, I don't know, that just inspired that, like that thought for me of just really like recognizing that there are seasons where it's just like, yeah, actually I'm not in a place where I can really give a ton of love, or even where I'm feeling like ready to feel like doing the work of that, because sometimes there is the reality of like having a discomfort of, I want to improve something, or the way that this is going is really frustrating for me, whether that be like an injury or, you know, maybe, sometimes, you know, illnesses that are out of our control that can like really change the way that our body's functioning, or seasons of life. And so recognizing that like sometimes the feeling you might have is frustration.
Yeah. And being, I think, like gentle and compassionate with yourself, and recognizing like we all go through these seasons. I think sometimes it can feel really like isolating to be in that, especially in the world of social media where like everyone, it's the highlight reel of everyone's life. And so then you're at home and you're like, oh my gosh, but like I hate my body, or I am frustrated about this, or I wish I looked this way instead, or I wish the number on the scale said this, like fill in the blank, right? And we're not always, most times, getting exposed to like other people are also feeling this way. No matter what they look like, no matter how amazing you think they look, they might be struggling with their own stuff. And so I think just normalizing that in some ways, because I think it can feel really lonely for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's wonderful. And, you know, something that's coming to mind, and it's on our list, it's like down a little bit, but like, as you were saying that, thinking about like the discomfort too of like commenting on people's bodies, I feel like you don't know what someone is struggling with. I actually was like lecturing my niece and nephews about this the other night, because there is like this word, there's this like phrase that's like in pop culture right now, and like the kids are like throwing it around, no big deal. And you and I kind of talked about this last time, and it is got me just fucking mad, because these kids are like running around like calling each other big backs, and like
literally the first time we recorded this that did not air, I was shocked. Like I haven't heard that, but that's like insane.
Come hang out with these kids in their age range of like, you know, 17 to, I mean, Maverick is 6, but it's because of his older siblings' influence.
Sure.
So like, I think it's probably going around like, you know, anywhere as young as like 7 to maybe 10, to like 17, 18. And they're just like throwing around this term. Like you can hear it anywhere of like, oh, I'm such a big back because I'm eating like too much, or okay, big back, like biggie, like these things. And it literally pisses me off so bad, because all I can think about is the girl or the boy who is insecure about their body. And like, you might be fine throwing that around, or you might like know it's a joke between you and your friend, but who is the bystander listening and picking that up and carrying it with them for the rest of their life? And that's the reality of like some of these things, the implications that comments have.
They like become the core memories of like
of a moment.
Yes. Yep.
Of a situation.
Yeah. And you're not always aware of that. And so like, from a child perspective, it's like they don't understand the weight that those words are carrying. Mm-hmm. But then we move into adulthood, and sometimes people still don't understand it. And that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Like being aware of the comments that you make about someone's body. And maybe even just doing some like self-reflection of like, what if someone said that to you? And by the way, we're not talking about just one direction or the other, just making any comments about someone's body. Like we've talked about how, you know, even if someone appears that they've lost weight, which is generally praised, right? It's really, really dicey to comment on that and to be the one initiating that, right? So if someone maybe says to you like, oh, I've been working out a lot and I'm feeling really good about like the things that I'm doing, you can of course be like, oh, that's great. I'm glad, like, it seems like the work is really paying off. Like, good for you for like doing that for yourself. But to just approach someone and be like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. And you don't know if that person's been starving themselves or purging or whatever they're doing, right in either direction. And so it's really, I think, dangerous to approach, to like initiate conversations around someone's body, because you don't know what they're going through. Mm-hmm. You don't know how that comment is going to be received. And also, if you make comments and then at some point you're like, I'm not going to make comments anymore, that messaging also starts to come in on like, oh my gosh, people aren't noticing. Like, so it's just it's best to just like, don't touch it.
No,
like,
absolutely.
There's no reason.
There is no reason. And I think that like this ties into like dysmorphia a lot, because if you're someone who's like struggling with what you see in the mirror, or like you have a really like skewed sense of self, and people are commenting on how, oh my God, you're so thin, or you've lost so much weight, that you have no idea what that person's carrying or what they see in the mirror and what that is doing. Because if they're in a place where they feel really, or they're seeing something else and they feel really the opposite of whatever praise you're giving them, and then they take that and in their head, they're like, well, I actually am not that. And then that's like fueling the fire of like, now I have to be even smaller, or I have to do this more extreme thing to like feel okay, because I don't see that. And I just love, like, I think that this is such a huge, important thing to talk about, because we are coming up to a time of year where we're going to be seeing people, you know, holiday season, et cetera, where we're seeing people, or maybe we haven't seen people for a while, and it's like, oh my God, you're so thin. Or, oh my God, you look amazing. Like, what have you been doing? Let's not, like, if you haven't seen someone for a long time and they look physically different, how about how about asking, how are you?
Yeah.
Are you healthy? A nice physical, like, appearance compliment you can give is, oh my gosh, you're glowing.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, you look so happy.
Talk about somebody's energetic field and like what they're actually presenting, because maybe they like are physically smaller or whatever, right? We don't need to comment on that. It's just not helpful. It's not kind. Like, it does not fuel anything positive. And I like think about the times in my life where, you know, I was not doing healthy things to my body, and I was smaller than I had ever been before. And the comments that came my way and how they didn't do positive things a lot of the time, or they like
reinforces and adds fuel to the fire.
It does. It reinforces bad behavior, or it made me like it kind of fed like the little demon in me who was like, yes, I did it. Like, you know, and that's like, it's heartbreaking. And I think about young girls, like, I swear we can't have a conversation about bodies without talking about my grandma. And I love you, Grandma. She doesn't listen to this, but she doesn't even know what YouTube is. And we love that for her. But my grandma, we were on a walk, and she said to my cousin, who is 12, I love your skinny little legs. I love how skinny your legs are.
Fuck.
And I literally said, Grandma, we don't comment on each other's bodies. Don't say that. And she's like, why? It's a compliment. I do. I wish my legs look like that. First of all, babe, you're 84. Fucking chill. Like, if you can't just be okay right now at this age, like, I'm losing hope. But also I was like, no, we don't comment on each other's bodies. And she's like, why? And I was like, you don't know what seeds you're planting, because what happens when her body changes? Because it will. She's 12.
Yeah.
Her body's going to change. And my grandma was like, oh, like, I don't know. Oh, like, I thought it was a compliment. And I'm like, and I know you did, but like, we as women, and I've done this, I know I'm guilty of this, of like talking bad about my body in front of my niece, or, you know, whoever, or feeling, you know, the conversation about like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that, or whatever, shame and the seeds that it's planting in these little people around us, and how it's like our duty as women to like protect girls in that, because it is, if I just had like an ounce of the wisdom I have today that I could just share with my younger self, who spent so much energy, time fixated on hating myself. And I think that this is like an important thing to talk about, because we might grow out of it in ways, but we don't. It just actually, I think, evolves into something different in adulthood, unless we're like really doing the work to like be neutral or choose like healthier practices and versus punishment, to like actually move through this stuff.
Yeah. To add on the topic of like not commenting on people's bodies, if someone is bringing something up to you, saying, oh, I've lost this much weight, or I've gained this much weight, or I've been doing XYZ thing, instead of immediately going to like, oh no, or, oh, that's amazing, asking like, oh, how do you feel about that? Yeah. Like being curious, because if someone shares with you like, oh, I've, you know, put on X amount of pounds, they might feel really good about that. Maybe that was a goal that they had, to actually like put on a little bit more weight. And like, don't project your own stuff onto that person. And same goes for the reverse of like, maybe they lost some weight, but maybe they weren't intending to. Like maybe they've been sick, or something's been going on. Right. And so just being like curious about those things, and to the point of like being delicate around like little ears, it can be really hard. Like, I think it just like really highlights our own stuff when we start catching ourselves like, ooh, I really shouldn't say that. Like I gotta be more mindful going forward. And that's as little as like labeling foods as like good versus bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it starts to create those connotations of like, ooh, this entire food group is bad for me.
Yeah.
And that's when like then moving into like the holiday seasons where like this stuff is like everywhere.
Abundant.
And you have that shame spiral of like, ooh, but this is bad and I shouldn't have done this and I need to punish myself and I need to be in the gym and all the things. And so it just becomes like this really difficult cycle that starts at a very young age.
Absolutely.
And it just, like you said, kind of evolves and looks a little different in adulthood.
Yes. You know, it's such an interesting thing because I think a lot of the time, you know, older generations hear women discuss their bodies, or like I've definitely heard like them in the mother lineage in my family, like women sharing like, oh, I really don't like my body. And then when my mom would be like, well, why? Like, why do you dislike your body? And then really peeling back the layers of like, but how did you talk about your body as a mother? Like, how did you feel about yourself?
Yeah.
And how that really does plant seeds in our, and you know, it's like a thread that like goes generations back. But if you pull the thread, right, and like see how far it goes, it's like a tale as old as time almost. And how I really feel like youth is wasted on the young, in so many ways. And so, and I don't like, obviously I don't mean that, but like, hey, I said what I said. No, I'm kidding. But really it is like one of those things where I think approaching 30 and the way that our bodies are changing, my body has changed so much in the last year. And like, obviously like, yeah, I'm still super young, but a 30-year-old body and a 25-year-old body are different. And I spent a lot of time in my early 20s, like being really critical, not recognizing how quickly it changes. And I think that that's a lesson for the ages. And I'm sure some of our older listeners are like, yeah, like, you know, but in the moment, do we have the foresight to like really see like, oh, you know, and it's like we've talked about, it's not like love and it's not necessarily like deep appreciate. It's more about like a little bit of gratitude or just like gentleness, empathy around like, hey, this is my body in this season of life. One of the greatest pieces of advice I was ever given when I was living in Los Angeles, which is very it's a very like superficial environment, was some years you're going to have fat years and some years you're going to have skinny years, and just be okay with them. And I don't like, I hate using the word fat and skinny. Like if you're watching, I'm using like air quotes as I say that, because it's like, no, some years my body is going to be bigger than what I'm used to. And some years it's going to be smaller than what I'm used to, or it's going to ebb and flow. And like, that's also part of like hormonal changes, pregnancy, like
injuries.
and literally like
illness,
all of it, right? It encompasses so much. And just like recognize, instead of like being on the beat myself up, shame spiral, like punishing myself for some things that are sometimes out of our control, like literally, just being like, okay, and this is what it is. And I can hold that discomfort and that truth, and I'm going to move through it, you know?
Yeah. Just having, again, kind of like the compassion, or just like taking a gentle approach with yourself. Almost like inner child work would be like such a good thing too, is like imagining your younger version of yourself, or if that feels really tender, you could imagine another child. Like, what would you say to them? How would you treat them? Like, how would you approach that? And so sometimes allowing, like using the compassion, you know, on someone else can be helpful, and then, you know, bringing it back to yourself, but just recognizing like every body goes through many seasons of change, and trying to like lean into those rather than resist them or get into like those shame spirals can be really helpful. And I think too, when you're in those seasons, it's not necessarily like a bad thing, using air quotes, of like, well, I do have a desire to change XYZ thing, right? In a healthy way. Like it's okay to like have goals. It's okay to like have a desire to have some changes within your body, right?
Yeah.
But doing it from a place of like, this is because I want to like, you know, feel really strong and healthy, or I want to, you know, be thinking about longevity or being able to run around with my grandkids someday, or like fill in the blank, right? So doing it from like a really like pure intentions rather than from a place of like, oh, it's because I'm so ugly, or I'm so disgusting, or I'm so this or that. Like, that's not going to be the like sustainable approach to this. And so
No.
I just wanted to note that, like, yes, of course, like having goals and wanting to make changes is totally normal, and I think very appropriate in a lot of cases, but doing it with like good intentions for yourself.
Absolutely. I love that.
And just on that note too, of like recognizing that there are always going to be like these evolving trends of what the body is, right? So like,
absolutely,
it's been a swinging pendulum on both sides and everything in between on like what beauty is. And you have to be able to like tune that out in some way.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. I was literally going to transition into this topic as well. Like, you have to be able to tune that out, and recognizing that like it is so incredibly subjective.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And like what's trending a lot of the time is based on like what the new hot product is to, you know, fix this.
The consumerism part of all of this.
100%, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah, like having big lips was in because Botox was on the fucking rise. Filler was like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And so it's like really recognizing like, is this from a desire of like truly something inside of me, or is this from a desire of something that is out of an outside, you know, opinion perspective, what I'm seeing on the internet, what I'm, you know,
I just feel like I have to like fit this mold. Yeah.
100%. And also like recognizing that like the way that beauty standards have evolved for centuries, thousands of years.
Yeah.
And when we like peel it back and look at like sculptures of women from thousands of years ago to what we see on the cover of a magazine right now, you know?
Yeah.
It's so different and it's evolved so much. And I think it's so hard as especially young women. Like we kind of touched on that. We've touched on this before, but like when we were growing up, like early 2000s, late 90s, you would see a magazine cover with like Kate Moss on the front, and it'd be like Kate Moss looking fat, or like look at her cellulite. This woman probably weighed 95 pounds and is like 6 foot.
Gosh, yes, insane. And you mentioned cellulite, and I'm remembering actually when we were kids, there would be, and there probably still are, I'm just so disconnected from this, but like products that you would like rub on your skin, and it was supposed to like
get rid of your cellulite.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's the consumerism part of all of this is like you're being sold a product. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, probably trillion-dollar industry, the beauty industry. And like they're being fueled off of your insecurities.
100%. And it's like, I'm going to solve the problem you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the whole, and that's marketing, right? It's like, oh, we're going to inform people about the problem they don't know that they have. And so it's like, maybe you're living life. You're like, I don't give a shit about this cellulite. And then next thing you see this commercial, this product, this like, person talking about how like,
I care about this?
No, literally, literally like, oh my God. That reminds me of like one time someone was telling me this part of their body they were really insecure about. And the way that I just like was like, what? I've never looked at that. Do I need to look at that on my body? Am I supposed to hate this? And I was like, that's crazy. I can't jump in this. Like I can't get in the water. Because it is, but that's like how it works. Right. And, we've seen a lot of extremes in the last 20 years, you know, from heroin chic to, you know, no disrespect to any of these people or any of these body types, but like to, you know, that slim thick thing that was in with like the like rise of the Kardashians. And then it like you were super thin, like, oh, your butt's not big enough. And what I've really enjoyed seeing in the last few years is the conversation. A lot of these young women, like who were, like influencers, who made drastic changes to their bodies at really young ages and now have come back to the table and been like, yeah, I am reversing my BBL or I'm getting all the filler dissolved in my face, and like what an uncomfortable process that's been. But also because it's like, yeah, I was 18 years old and I changed the entire composition of who I was. And now I'm kind of like, well, I did that for a trend. Like I literally did that to be popular on the internet. And I just hope that young girls, like if there's any takeaway, if we have any young girls listening to this, like recognizing that you are always going to be getting messaging that's telling you that there's something wrong with your body. And whether that doesn't matter what size, what shape, whatever, it's literally an industry that is like capitalizing off of your insecurities, and to like really try to tune out that noise as much as possible. And I, a tip, like one of the tips I have for that, because I feel like it's so much easier said than done. If there's things that are triggering you on your Instagram feed, on your social media feed, mute those things, those people. Find people that actually make you feel really good. Like the influencers who are out here like showing like, this was the picture I posted on Instagram. This is what my body actually looks like.
I literally love every once in a while a video like that will come through of like, this is my body posed, and it's like what you would see in like a magazine. Right?
Absolutely.
And this is my body unposed, where you're like actually like getting up from the ground, like a normal human, all the folds that we all naturally have.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, that's so good to see.
It is so. There's a one girl, and I don't know if she's making much of this content anymore, but she used to post herself in outfits before she ate and herself in outfits after she ate, because she was recovered from an eating disorder. And I don't know like what the whole context of her story is, but she always was just like bringing awareness to like, eat the food. Like you're going out to dinner with your friends, and if you're like so concerned about the outfit, like she literally would be like, this is my body before I ate breakfast, and this is my body after, and I'm still going to wear this crop top, and I'm still going to wear the skirt. I'm still going to wear the thing because my body needs food. And this is what I look like after I eat.
Like expansion is natural. Like, after like we're sold a lie, basically. That's why I love like a lot. I hate wearing jeans. I know I'm wearing jeans right now, but like,
as am I
love a good elastic waistband. That just
absolutely.
Like grows with me throughout the day.
Comfort over like, hey, you know what? This is 30. Let's be functional.
Yeah.
Let's be functional versus like try. I think like, oh yeah, I have absolutely like in my early 20s. Sometimes would be like, yeah, we're going out tonight, so I'm not going to eat for the whole day. I won't be able to eat till we get home tonight because I've got to like fit in this teeny tiny thing that isn't functional and I don't want to wear. And if I drop anything, my whole entire asshole is going to be out. And that's real life. But
sometimes I think about like the white chick scene of like in the dressing room and like being cinched up. And I'm like, that's what I feel like sometimes when I wear like tight clothes. I hate it. I just hate tight clothes. So like,
absolutely.
More of that.
If you're watching this and you just watched Burke bury his face in my garage, I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Literally personal boundaries, dude. Take me on a date first. Okay, well, pause. But yeah, like the trend cycles are always going to exist. And actually, like, I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but I saw something once that said like, if all women, if everyone committed to like loving their body, the beauty industry would collapse overnight. And it's not even, I don't even think it's about committing to loving our body. If we just committed to being fine with how we looked and our skin, our hair, or whatever, our nails, etc. Like if we just committed to that, the beauty industry would literally disappear.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Like that's really eye-opening.
It is. So if nothing else, just picture it as like a resistance to
we're revolting.
Yeah.
And I love a revolution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, especially like when it comes to like these things that are like completely made up,
Yeah, they're fabricated like standards. I feel like talking like the whole concept of an inside job is really potent here as well, because all of these standards will continually change. They're going to continue to evolve. There's always going to be another like it girl or like whatever it is, right? And so all of this comes down to being an inside job. We cannot control all the things that happen in our life. We can't control if we get an injury and can't do like the same, movement routine that we generally do, or we, can't control so many different things, right? And so being okay with who you are as a person is what it really comes down to, because we're going to naturally experience all sorts of changes in life. Again, that's not to say that you can't like set goals and, have a desire to do something different, but still that has to come from a really authentic place inside, rather than from a place of like punishment.
Absolutely. Hate. And this like really is relevant to what we mentioned about like the commenting on people's bodies, because if someone, the inside job of it is like, you might think like, oh my God, you look amazing, you've done X, Y, and Z or whatever. And that person might be in so much pain on the inside. Yeah. And that's where it's like, we don't know what people are experiencing. And it is that internal work of pain comes in all shapes and sizes. And I think that is a big part of this conversation of like, just the triggers and the things that we're carrying. And so, learning to like find the things about yourself that you can really like recognize and shine a light on, that you're really proud of, whether that's like, I'm a really kind person, or I love how smart I am, or I love this thing about me, to kind of like take and it doesn't even have to be physical. Like, I actually think it's better when it's not, because it's like, this is your flesh suit. Hello, like it's so temporary and it's literally forever changing. Yeah. We, from the second of entering this human plane to the second of exiting our body, is like experiencing 1,000 different changes, cell growth, cell death, hair. I mean, all of it. Like our skin is forever changing. Everything about us you're in a constant state of rapid change. And so finding those things about like our soul, our mind, our spirit, like our sense of humor, those things that we can really like embrace and just like love. I think that those are like the big wins. And that's part of that internal journey of like, I love my, one of the things I've learned to like really love about myself, and that has contributed to like me feeling really good, is like, I love how dedicated and hungry I am for like knowledge and understanding of the human experience. And like, that is something that I'm like, damn, that's so cool. And so for our listeners, like finding those things, because your body's going to change and it's going to keep changing.
I don't know if I heard it somewhere or I read it somewhere, but it was basically talking about how like when you enter a room and meet someone for the first time and then leave, like no one's talking about the way that you look. Like they're talking about like the energy that you brought, the thing that you brought to the table, the thing that stood out the most to them, whether that be good or bad or neutral, right? No one's like fixated, like we're the ones who are fixated on ourselves, right? And thinking that everyone's actually going to care about that.
Yeah.
That's not true. Like, that's just not the case. Like, no one's really that focused on that. And at the end of the day, or at the end of our life, no one is going to like remember us for our body.
Can you imagine at your funeral if someone was like, and she was so like, insert term here. I'd be like, what the fuck?
It'd be weird.
That'd be so really weird. And also I'd be like, I needed to get different people surrounding me. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And I think that's so true. A lot of like that stuff is like us in our head. And it's like the perception of what we think people see.
It's like when you walk in a room and you think like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. Everyone's thinking about me. No one's thinking about you.
Hey, guess what? They're in their head thinking that same thing about themselves. And like, that is such a fucking truth, like a universal, I think, part of the human experience for sure. And as we're like, like one thing about this work, I think like a good segue into like the holiday season, we're about to like enter this time where, hey, it's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, it's New Year's, every which way there's going to be a party and a thing and all this stuff. And it's kind of like a season of indulgence in a way, I feel like that can be the center of a lot of these things, right? And I just want to give everybody permission, if you feel called to indulge, that's okay, you know, and to not, hey, don't write a 5-act play about what it means about you or why you're insert like criticism here. Sometimes you just wanted to taste the fucking cake.
Yeah. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I was thinking about, you said like a season of indulgence, and I was thinking about how like literally the seasonal foods shift this time. Like in the summer, it's a lot of like really light food
and fresh.
And this time of year is like a lot of hearty, warm foods. And it's like, it's like literally totally different seasonally eating. And then on top of that, you have like baked goods. And sometimes it's really fun to like do like homemade baked goods or accept that as like a gift from someone, or to indulge and be like, oh, they have this dessert and I really want to eat it and I'm going to, and to like be okay with that, just recognizing like this is just part of the season, but it's also just part of life, and being able to like find the balance of like, if I'm going to say no, why am I saying no? Am I saying no from a place of like wanting to uphold boundaries? Like I'm trying to, you know, address a health issue or something like that. That's one thing. But to say no from a place of like, shame and trying to like go into this spiral of, if I eat this, then I'm going to have to punish myself by going for an X mile run or working out X amount of days this week. And for this long, like all the things that like the rules that we put around it that we fabricate and make, it's not effective to like, go into those spirals. And so again, this is like one of those like inside job things, and like what's your intention behind it, of course, like finding that balance of like, how can you enjoy the season and enjoy like the really delicious and cozy foods, and like feel good about the choices that you're making, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Like just granting permission both ways, right? Like, yeah, exactly. It's that. Because if you're going to just, especially New Year's is like the fucking devil.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I just feel like it's the devil, because it's like, hey, you just indulged and now you need to get a new gym membership and lose 20 pounds in the dead of winter, by the way, when you're literally like it's circadian.
Like it's planned.
That's so crazy.
Is this a conspiracy?
No. And you heard it here first, folks. No, literally, but seriously, it's like that. Like, it's just kind of like just the bait and switch of it all. Like, oh, like try this, make this, have like indulge here, and then it's like, but actually, you need to fucking get your shit together. It's New Year's. Yeah. And I hate that so much. And yeah, you know, if you're in a season like where you, like Kayla mentioned, like upholding, like you're in the middle of a health goal or whatever, this is a big one. I think sometimes people can get triggered when we say, no, I'm not going to have the cake. No one cares what's in your cup. So if you are the person who's hearing this and like if you make the baked good and you bring it to the party and somebody is doing something for their health, or maybe they're trying to do an elimination because they like are having allergies, or you have no idea. Maybe their like autoimmune is really high or whatever, and they say no, you can still eat the cake. You can still have the treat. Like it does not mean anything about you. And I think that like that's another important conversation, because sometimes it's so triggering for family members or whatever. Sometimes when we are maybe upholding something, or like we're not eating something, or we're opting out of the thing, and recognizing that actually, no, nobody cares if you have the cake. Like I want you to have that. I want you to do whatever you want to do. Yeah. For me, it's a no right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, right? And like you mentioned, like being from that healthy, like that place of like clarity, not from the place of like, I can't eat that because if I do, it will mean X, Y, and Z about me.
Yeah.
I think that is really important. And also like, if you go into it with one expectation of like, I'm not going to eat this thing, and then you end up eating it, like that's okay. Like that's a huge thing, I think, to like because then what happens is it's like that excuse. I said I wasn't going to eat the cookie. I ate the cookie and now I'm binge eating, right?
Yeah.
It's that spiral.
I heard someone say the other day, they were like, I never fall off the wagon. I choose to park the wagon, get off for a minute, and then get back on the wagon. And so I liked that mindset shift.
I love that.
Like, you don't have to frame it in a way of like, oh, well, now I have to abandon ship and like I've thrown away all the progress. Like if you're working toward a goal or something, or I have to start all over, or now I have to like go all in on this, right? So like just being, I guess, like approaching it with intentionality can be helpful. It's just like a small shift in mindset can make a huge difference in some of these things.
Oh my God, I love that. I wanted to make a joke so bad, and I'm going to refrain. I'm going to refrain.
Tell me after.
I will. Oh, I will. But it's, yes, like you can park the wagon.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm thinking about too, just like in terms of the holidays and our bodies and how we feel about ourselves, and this kind of, if you listened to last episode, like we kind of touched on some of this, like around families and things like that. But if you didn't listen to it and you're listening to this one, definitely check the last one out, because I think there's some really good tips on how to approach like maybe some of those uncomfortable conversations or comments made. But one time, my grandma, LOL, you guys, my grandma said some crazy shit to me about my body in my life. And this was a couple years ago, and I knew I had been in a really unhealthy place in my life. And my partner at the time, I was telling him, like, I was like, oh, I'm not ready for all the comments about my body, because I was really thin and I wasn't healthy. I was going through a lot. I was unwell, and he knew it. And I was like, I'm going to be so triggered if the first thing out of her mouth is about my body. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, just say whatever you need to say back. Like you can just be like, don't talk. You can set the boundary. Right. And I don't know what came over me in this moment. My grandma was like, you are looking really thin. And I said, and you are looking really old. And I said it, you guys. And am I a bad granddaughter for that? I don't fucking know. But don't talk like that. Was how I coped with it. My partner just started laughing when I said it.
Hilarious.
He literally, it was really funny. He was like, you did not just fucking say that.
Oh my God.
And I was like, honey, I don't know. She's like, if you're going to comment on me, I don't know what I am supposed to do. And so I'm also giving you permission to turn it into a joke. If you feel uncomfortable and you've like made it clear with people that you're not really comfortable having certain conversations, hey, you can be witty back. So if someone says, oh, you look like you've insert thing here, you can say, and you look like you've really aged. People love hearing that shit. No, but it's like, don't comment on people's bodies.
Yeah.
Like, don't appearance. Yeah.
It's so not necessary. As kids, as
adults,
like literally stop.
and like, it'd be really weird to say it is weird to say to somebody like, wow, you've really aged. Like, or wow, you're what? No, that's crazy. Right. So why is it okay to say, wow, you've lost a lot of weight, or like, oh, wow, you've gained a lot of weight. Like,
yeah, it's literally the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so what I'm here to tell you is it's wrong, and just don't do it. Just don't do it. Hey, was that good advice? Absolutely not. But was it funny and maybe you get a laugh?
Yes.
Yeah, you could. But yeah.
Well, amazing. I feel like we covered a lot of good stuff. I feel like that's a good place to end.
Yes.
I feel like Burke is telling us that's a good place.
Burke is like, wrap it up, guys. No, definitely. Yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap up. Thank you guys for listening. We know it's like a busy season of life, but don't forget to, just keep giving us love and support. And if you have any questions for us, you can ask us anything. Our forms are still up on our pages, and just, hey, we're here. So thank you for being on this journey with us.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.